Katt Williams leaks video of Tyler Perry's freak-off with Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Everyone knows how much Katt Williams hates Tyler Perry, but how many of y'all are aware the Medea merchant once had a spat with Kevin Hart? True. Turns out, a lot of the Suez shit that plagued Kevin throughout his career was a direct result of Tyler Perry's influence. It runs deep to the man he is, the systems he's created, and the backs he's broken on his rise to the top. Thanks to Katt Williams, who recently leaked a video of Tyler Perry's freak-off with Kevin Hart, we now have the truth. So let's dive in. Kevin Hart versus Tyler Perry.
We put too much pressure on Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? He ain't put nobody on. The people that been in his productions, they not famous. All of them can walk through the mall without security.
The beef between Katt Williams and Tyler Perry has been on for quite some time, with a series of events and incidents contributing to the tension between these two industry heavyweights. However, Kevin's inclusion in the group chat is what has blown the entire issue out the water. And as you can imagine, before it got this bad, there was a starting point. That starting point can be traced to Katt Williams' appearance on a radio show in 2012, where he made controversial comments about Tyler Perry. During the interview, Katt criticized Perry's success and accused him of perpetuating negative stereotypes in his work. He specifically targeted Perry's character, Medea, calling her a coon and suggesting that Perry was exploiting the African-American community for financial gain. These comments sparked a heated debate within the entertainment industry, with many coming to Perry's defense. Supporters argued that Perry's work had provided opportunities for African-American actors and had brought important stories to the forefront. However, Katt Williams remained unapologetic, standing by his comments and refusing to back down. This was bad enough until a year later in 2013 on a comedy tour when Katt Williams came for Tyler Perry once again. During his set, Katt mocked Perry's success and questioned his authenticity as a filmmaker. He suggested that Perry's films lacked substance and were merely vehicles for him to dress up as Medea and make money. This time, Tyler Perry shot back at the comedian. In his classic fashion, the media mogul expressed disappointment in Katt Williams' remarks. Then he went on to emphasize the importance of supporting and uplifting fellow artists instead of tearing them down. He also highlighted the positive impact his work had on the African-American community, providing representation and opportunities for actors and filmmakers. But it's Katt Williams we are talking about here. He's never liked the man, and he wasn't going to back down for reasons that would eventually become obvious. In 2018, Katt made headlines once again when he called out Perry during a stand-up performance. He accused Perry of being a puppet in Hollywood. He suggested that Tyler was not truly in control of his own career, and that the man loved money way more than the people who shared the same skin color with him. And from the outside, that made zero sense. Because are we talking about the same Tyler? Is it the same Tyler that, on his busy days, has about 5,000 people working under him? 5,000 black people, mind you. He's employed more black people than Katt Williams could ever hope to. So what are we talking about, Katt? Well, again, it's deeper than just that. Because if you'd been paying attention, then you'd know that when it comes to Tyler Perry, most of his victims stay quiet until one refuses to and then blows the entire train off the rails.
So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film.
It was the revelation of this whole saga that nearly broke the internet. Monique had acted in the film Precious, directed by Lee Daniels. After the film was made, they wanted her to fly to Cannes to promote the film, and Monique said no. Monique declined the invitation because she wouldn't be paid for her appearance, as it wasn't part of her original contract. She believed she deserved downtime and had other commitments to fulfill. So this episode with Tyler Perry speaking to her was kinda like an intimidation tactic, where he was promising her figures that just didn't make sense.
Because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million.
The film did get nominated for the Oscars, and Monique got an Oscar nomination. But mind you, she wasn't paid properly for the film in question. She got paid pennies on the dollar, practically free work. So like I said, these were lies Tyler was using to trick her into promotion.
And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother?
Monique never did the promotion, and she still won the Oscars and a Golden Globe, which kinda just proved Tyler wrong. This must have made him salty, because from then on, Tyler began saying to anyone that would listen, Monique was difficult to work with. Everyone in the industry began to see her as a problematic actor. Tyler also got Oprah and Lee Daniels to say the same shit about Monique, and the result was a blackballing from the industry. Monique began demanding for justice, an apology from Tyler Perry. She knew she was being treated unfairly and deserved a public public apology from those involved, including Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. While Lee Daniels eventually offered Monique a public apology for his part in her career downfall, Oprah or Tyler delayed. Their relationship only worsened when Oprah invited Monique's family onto her talk show to discuss the abuse she suffered during her childhood. However, there seemed to be a glimmer of hope for reconciliation between Monique and Tyler Perry. In a 2022 interview, Monique revealed that Tyler had agreed to mend fences and publicly admit his wrongdoings. Monique even leaked an audio recording of her conversation with Tyler Perry and her husband, where he allegedly agreed to mend fences and admit his mistakes publicly. But, unfortunately, he went back on his promise, leaving Monique feeling betrayed once again. Now, it's one thing if it was just Katt Williams and Monique that had issues with Tyler Perry. These are two people everyone knows to be outspoken. But what if I told you Spike Lee also had a long episode with the Medea merchant? In fact, for a long time, they hated each other. And fortunately for Spike, he was one black person Tyler couldn't bully.
Bought his own jet. You know, you can buy a jet, you got money. But at the same time, for me, just imagery is troubling.
This beef began in the early 2000s, a time when the entertainment industry was hungry for fresh voices and diverse stories. From the very beginning, Spike Lee set himself up as a visionary filmmaker with an uncompromising approach to cinema, and eventually, he would go on to make seminal hits like Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X. Lee's films were thought-provoking, socially conscious, and unafraid to tackle the pressing issues of the day. Meanwhile, on a different path, Tyler Perry was carving out his own niche in the industry. He had gained immense popularity with his stage plays, and the notable sassy and outspoken Medea, which, funny enough, struck a chord with audiences across the nation. In 2005, Perry made his directorial debut with the film adaptation of his play, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. The movie, although panned by critics, struck a chord with audiences and became a surprise box office success. As Tyler Perry's star continued to rise, he found himself in the crosshairs of Spike Lee, who took issue with the portrayal of African American characters and the themes explored in Perry's films. Lee argued that Perry's work perpetuated stereotypes and failed to address the complexities of the black experience. At first, Tyler Perry's response to Spike Lee was pretty straightforward.
I will punch the hell out of you. Say something else.
That is my answer to Spike Lee. Go to hell.
Tyler Perry would later defend his films, arguing that he was simply catering to an underserved audience. He believed that his movies provided much-needed representation for a demographic that had long been marginalized in mainstream media. Perry acknowledged that his films may not be critically acclaimed, but he believed that they served a purpose and resonated with millions of viewers. Eventually, the two industry heavyweights would patch things up. Spike admitted Tyler Perry's influence, but he insisted that the man was more a businessman than an artist. And the truth is, if you know anything about how he ran his studios, you would agree. Tyler Perry runs a tight ship on his operations. I'm talking cartel-level kind of control. It is so bad that many have gone on to say that he runs his corner of the movie business like a cult. Tyler Perry's cult.
I pray his favor. I pray the blood of Jesus will come upon you right now. Keep you in his hair.
This video set the black community in a riot because the religious implications of what happened in that clip meant that T.D. Jakes was beneath Tyler Perry. Now don't jump me just yet. I know everybody knows Tyler Perry is a conservative Christian, but he ain't no preacher. And for the average Christian, black or white, their preacher is practically on the same level with their president, if not their God. So why would Bishop T.D. Jakes, the senior pastor of the Potter's House megachurch in Dallas, Texas, allow Tyler Perry, a studio executive, to touch his head and prey on him like some senior pastor? Well, the answer isn't too hard. Money. $1 million of cold cash donated to T.D. Jakes' spiritual establishment was what made him fall under Tyler Perry's anointing. In a way, I can understand. I would kneel too if someone gave me $1 million, but I ain't a preacher, and I don't have a congregation of tens of thousand faithfuls watching me, so it sure ain't the same thing. And that's why this gesture left many questioning Perry's motives and the appropriateness of his actions. Was he overstepping his boundaries by assuming a preaching role in the church? Or was this a genuine act of faith and support? Because while this may have been a moment of spiritual connection for some, it also ignited a wave of backlash and differing perspectives. As news of the incident spread, the media and the public were quick to weigh in on what they perceived as a controversial act. Critics argued that Perry had crossed a line by assuming a preaching role in the church. They questioned his authority and intentions, suggesting that his actions were disrespectful to Bishop Jakes and the sacredness of the church environment. But hey, Tyler didn't force force the bishop to kneel. And funny enough, the bishop himself came to Tyler's defense. He expressed his gratitude for Tyler Perry's generous donation and shed light on the intentions behind the controversial act of laying hands. He even went as far as saying that Perry's actions were not meant to disrespect or undermine his authority as a pastor. Instead, they were a genuine expression of prayer and support. But he gave you $1 million, didn't he? Bishop Jakes might have not officially mentioned the $1 million, but he did acknowledge that the encounter may have been unconventional, but he urged the public to focus on the positive impact of Perry's donation and the unity it brought to the congregation. He emphasized the importance of forgiveness and understanding, encouraging everyone to move past the controversy and embrace the message of love and unity. Yeah, that's the story they sell. We know it was all about control, because Tyler has always been about control. And in the beginning, it was a good thing because it was a path Hollywood forced him on, and a path that would be the key to his success.
You changed your name, you said, to distance yourself from your father, who, let's be honest, he sounds pretty brutal. He used to beat you relentlessly as a young man, which must have had an effect on you.
Yeah, well, of course it did.
Tyler Perry was born into a world of poverty and hardship. His early life was marked by struggles and challenges that seemed insurmountable. Growing up in a poor neighborhood, he faced a multitude of obstacles that threatened to derail his dreams. His family struggled to make ends meet, and Perry often found himself caught in the crossfire of their chaotic relationship. But in the midst of that chaos, he discovered solace in the power of storytelling. Perry's love for storytelling was nurtured by his mother, Willie Maxine Perry, and his aunt Mayola. They were strong, resilient women who instilled in him the values of perseverance and determination. They were the ones who inspired his iconic character, Medea. Perry once said, "My mother is the wisdom of Medea, but my Aunt Mayola, that's her wig, that's her voice, that's her gun in the purse." Despite the hardships he faced, Perry never lost sight of his dreams. At the age of 22, armed with $12,000 in savings from selling cars and working as a bill collector, he took a leap of faith and bankrolled his first play, I Know I've Been Changed. The play explored themes of dysfunctional families, forgiveness, and the love of God. But the road to success was far from smooth. Perry's first play was a flop. Opening weekend saw only a meager audience of 30 or so people in attendance. The financial burden left him in a deep hole. But instead of giving up, Perry used this setback as fuel to propel himself forward. He knew he had a story to tell, and he was determined to find a way to share it with the world.
I couldn't walk down the street without people screaming, "Medea, Tyler, Medea, Medea." And then I got to Hollywood and they had no clue to what I'd done, who I was, or the following that I had.
For the next 6 years, Perry tirelessly worked on refining his play. He brought in new talent, honed his craft, and built a loyal fan base that would become the foundation of his success. It was during this time that he premiered the remix of his play at the House of Blues and the famous Fox Theater in Atlanta. The response was overwhelming. The audience loved it, and each show sold out. The magic of Medea, no matter how problematic it was, couldn't be contained. Perry's success on the stage paved the way for his transition to the big screen. In 2005, Medea made her cinematic debut in Diary of a Mad Black Woman. The film, with a modest budget of $5.5 million, grossed a staggering $51 million in theaters and went on to generate an additional $150 million in various revenue streams. Perry had struck gold. The success of Diary of a Mad Black Woman was just the beginning. Perry went on to create a series of Medea films and other feature films that captivated audiences and turned a profit. According to Forbes, the Medea franchise alone has grossed over $670 million at the box office, solidifying Perry's status as a force to be reckoned with in the entertainment industry. But Perry's journey didn't stop at the silver screen. He ventured into television, creating hit sitcoms like House of Pain, which aired a record-breaking 254 episodes, surpassing the previous record held by The Jeffersons. Perry's shows, including Meet the Browns and Assisted Living, showcased his star-making power and further solidified his brand. In a groundbreaking deal with Viacom CBS, Perry signed on to produce approximately 90 episodes annually of original drama and comedy series for BET and other Viacom networks. The streaming service, BET Plus, is home to a lot of his original content, including shows like Sistas, The Oval, Bigger, Bruh, and Ruthless. Perry's influence and impact on the television industry cannot be overstated. But like I said, he got all of that by running a tight ship. And when you're running a tight ship where no one can question your command, you are bound to churn out a whole lot of
So I don't know if you know this, but all shows on television have a writer's room. And most of the time there are 10 people, 12, whatever, that write on these television shows, right? Well, I have no writer's room. Nobody writes any of my work.
I know collaboration is tough, but can someone let Tyler Perry know that it isn't a sin? When Tyler revealed himself that he runs a one-man writer's room, many of his fans were shocked, but those that knew him were not surprised. To be real, all you have to do is look at the quality of his works to know. From Owns the Haves and the Have-Nots to his House of Pain, it stinks. And most people who won't hide behind blind solidarity know it. And while Tyler might claim work ethic, it really isn't. The revelation had some Twitter users giving Perry his props, but on the other hand, some Tyler Perry content consumers found the news validating. Perry's work has often been critiqued for its lack of perspective for other Black stories that don't center on themes of struggle and abuse of Black men and women. And make no mistake, that's all him. That's how he thinks, what's in his head. Tyler Perry versus Black people.
Tell me why you don't have a writer's room, and would you ever consider creating a space like that?
I did have a writer's room about 10 years ago. I had the writer's room, and they were turning in scripts that weren't up to par for my audience.
While many admire his exceptional work ethic, it's not hard to see why his work has been so damn repetitive over the past 2 decades. It's the same damn theme over and over again. Despite producing numerous movies, he has stuck to a single narrative, typically revolving around a woman facing abandonment or abuse from her husband. This formulaic approach, coupled with convoluted storylines, has led to fatigue among viewers. Perry's insistence on pushing what he deems important messages is commendable, but his portrayal of Black identity often feels regressive and stereotypical. One glaring issue is Perry's portrayal of Black women, often depicted as either elitist and snobbish or impoverished and resentful. It's concerning that most of his narratives center around women, yet Perry himself is not a woman, nor does he involve Black women writers to provide diverse, more informed perspectives. His characterization of dark-skinned Black men as aggressive villains contrasts sharply with the portrayal of light-skinned men as saviors, perpetuating colorist stereotypes. Even when attempting to uplift Black men, Perry's narratives sometimes undermine Black women. And to make things even worse, Tyler Perry is anti-union. His treatment of his employees has raised serious ethical concerns over the years. He fired 4 talented television writers who sought union representation, alleging unfair labor practices. These writers, who contributed significantly to Perry's projects, were denied basic benefits and fair wages. It's just one of many incidents that have been a key part of Tyler Perry's legacy. But the worst has to be Medea. Yup. We are full circle. Now, don't get me wrong, and I don't know how many times I'll have to repeat this, but I acknowledge Tyler Perry's success, and I am not trying to be a hater. Even if I was, I'd just be fooling myself because he's a billionaire mogul, and I'm here making YouTube think pieces for your consumption. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just that my issue with Tyler Perry is how he has appropriated and weaponized cross-dressing against the culture. Whether you like it or not, his frequent use of cross-dressing, especially through his iconic character Medea, perpetuates harmful stereotypes about gender and masculinity. You could argue that Tyler Perry's normalization of cross-dressing is one of the reasons why Kevin Hart felt comfortable enough to wear a dress. While it may seem harmless, it perpetuates the idea that cross-dressing is inherently funny and acceptable. This not only undermines Hart's comedic talents, but also sends a troubling message to audiences about gender expression. The normalization of cross-dressing in comedy is harmful on multiple levels. It reinforces stereotypes, perpetuates gender inequality, and contributes to a culture where gender nonconformity is mocked and marginalized. This is particularly problematic within the context of Black masculinity, where historically, Black men have faced hyper-masculine stereotypes that limit their expression of gender and sexuality. Frankly, I feel it's time Tyler Perry moved on from the toxic sludge that he's come to normalize in his quest to commercialize his own people. But maybe we are looking at this the wrong way. Maybe he can't move on. Maybe Tyler Perry is not being honest with us. And personally, I won't be surprised, because if there's one thing that has been shrouded in mystery more than anything else in his life, it is his sexuality.
Tyler had a huge amount of support from the Black gay community because, well, he was Black and gay.
Is Tyler Perry gay? That's the burning question that has been on the minds of fans, movie critics, and entertainment writers for years. One of the biggest reasons why people think Tyler Perry is gay is his close relationship with actor Tyler Lepley. In 2013, Perry created the American crime drama and soap opera, The Haves and the Have-Nots. During the planning phase of the show, he cast a young actor named Tyler Lepley, with whom he seemed to develop a personal connection. The two Tylers were frequently seen together, sparking rumors and speculation among everyday folks and gossip column writers. However, it's important to note that in 2020, Tyler Lepley went on a podcast called Lip Service and denied the allegations of a romantic relationship with Tyler Perry. He asserted that neither he nor Perry is gay. Despite Lepley's denial, the rumors surrounding their relationship persisted, leaving fans and critics questioning the truth. In addition to his personal relationships and performances, there have been other claims and allegations surrounding Tyler Perry's sexuality. One such claim came from a man named Walter Lee Hampton, who released a revealing YouTube video about Perry's alleged homosexuality.
Somewhere between 8 to 10 guys. We were sitting at this table, and I just asked Tyler. Tyler made it clear that he said, look, no one can know that I'm gay. And I'm thinking, what? Are you looking around? Did you see all these sissies you hanging around at this table? Nobody can know that you're gay, and you sitting around with all these damn sissies.
Hampton claimed to be an ex-friend of Perry and stated that Perry was an out gay man when they first met. He even suggested that Perry's early supporters were members of the black gay community. According to Hampton, Tyler Perry asked his friends to keep quiet about his sexuality to maintain support from the local church. Perry had built a significant religious following through his movies and didn't want to alienate them with his sexual orientation. Hampton alleged that Perry turned his back on the black gay community that had allegedly supported him in the past. Tyler Perry has identified himself as a staunch LGBTQ+ ally, using his platform to advocate for equality and acceptance. In 2016, he personally appealed to Georgia Governor Nathan Deal to reject a bill that discriminated against the LGBTQ+ community. In 2019, Tyler Perry took his support for the LGBTQ+ community a step further by establishing a homeless shelter for women and LGBTQ+ youth. Located at his studio complex in Atlanta, Georgia, the shelter provides a safe haven for those in need. So will we ever know the truth, or will we have to keep on guessing?